Alright, welcome back to the tutorials. So in the previous tutorial, we moved all of our global, let's go here so we can see, we moved out all of our global variables that we were creating in this GUI interface, this graphical user interface. We moved it out of there and into an external event that we called load game. Now, if you skipped the previous tutorial, you're going to want to go back and watch that one first because I go over the why in terms of why we did this, and I also go over how you can download the external event itself and move it over to your own version of the game, just to save you a bunch of time. This took me quite a while actually to type out. So you're going to want to view that previous tutorial first. Alright, so where are we going now? Well, today I'm hoping is going to be sort of a brief kind of cleanup day, a little bit, right? Every so often you're going to always have to have a cleanup day for your code. And the first thing I want to clean up is, you see when you first interact with the desk here, you've got this 0. That's a data type issue. At least in my code, it might be that you actually didn't make the mistake and change the data type. So I want to clean that up. The other thing I want to do is I kind of miss being able to walk away from the object and have this dialog container just disappear on its own. So I think we're going to bring that back as well. And we're going to basically set up for our next sort of storyline here, next bit of storyboarding that we want to do, and maybe even in this one talk a little bit about where we're going to go with the game itself. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and change that code that we need. Actually, the very first thing I want to do is, just for the sake of time, I want to speed up our opening scene, excuse me. So I'm going to go to Basic Kingdom Room here, and I'm going to go ahead and collapse that, and I want to go into the Fade the Screen external event, and this is where I want to just speed it up quite a bit. So we're going to go start of game equals 0. Let's open up this right here, the Fade My Screen opening, and let's change this number to, instead of 0.5 to 50. It's going to go really fast. And in the timer rotate Bob head, let's rotate his head at 10. And the timer move Bob off bed, this one's a little bit more difficult because it's going to go up to about, it's going to go to kind of not an even number, but it's not a nice easy number of 10. So we're just going to put this at 2 here. That all looks good. Alright, let's go ahead and run a quick preview just to see how much more quickly our opening credit screen kind of goes through. And then we can always change that back later on. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, good. So now let's get rid of that 0, and that's an easy one too. Open up your load game external event, and we need to go to the dialog manager here, and I need to change these. Current string should be a string data type here. Remember, string equals text, right, letters, and value equals numbers, right? So we want this to be a string, so we'll hit OK. And we also want the temp string to be string as well, so we'll hit OK there, and that should get rid of our 0 problem when we start the game. The other thing I want to do is I want to go to Basic Kingdom Room and open up, let me open up our Kingdom Room collisions here, and I'm going to collapse that one. I guess I got to open up this one. And maybe what I'll do is I'll collapse these. Okay, let me add an event. I want to move this over and add another grouping here. And I'm going to call this grouping hide dialog, which I believe we had before, and I hastily got rid of. And I'm going to move this underneath our grouping. And I'm going to say that if the dialog layer is visible, layers, here we go, visibility of a layer, dialog, right? We'll leave this the way it is because it's saying if it is visible. And I'm going to say if the common conditions collision here, if Bob is not in collision with the chest, and I'm going to copy this and paste it and make this desk. We're going to hide the dialog here. Or hide the dialog layer, excuse me. All right, let's run a preview from main. All right, let's see how we did in terms of that 0. 0's gone. That's gone too. But we do have an interesting problem here. See how I'm not hitting spacebar, I'm actually hitting just the arrow keys. When he comes back in contact with the desk, you get this kind of annoying flashing both ways here, right? Okay, so why is that the case? That's because the timer, and let me get rid of some of these things. We don't need the main screen layout, and we don't need the basic kingdom room layout for right now. And I believe we're done with fade the screen. But we do need to bring up type on dialog. Let's bring that up. So this is still running while we're in whether we're in contact with the desk or chest or not, right? And when we pull away from that, we hide the dialog. It doesn't mean that that's still not running this code here. That's the real problem. So what we really want to do to clean this up a little bit is we actually want to create a new sort of section here that just clears out that code and stops it completely, stops everything. So this is how we're going to do that. We're going to go into our load game external event, and we're going to go into dialog manager under game management, and we're going to add a new variable here. Let's copy the top one here, check for dialog. Let's paste it in, and we're going to call this one clear dialog timer and set that equal to 0, right? That's fine. Now let's go into type on dialog, and let's create a new section here that's that says when dmanager dot clear dialog timer, and here's where you need to know the name of your variables, right? But we should be getting there anyway. When dmanager.clear dialog timer equals 1, right? So we're going to trigger, this is our trigger variable here. What do we want to do? Well, we want to do actually a lot of what we do up here. Where is it? No, not here. Here. There we go. So we want to do equals 0. We want to do equals 0 to counter. we want to clear out temp string, which I think we can just leave it as a blank here. Oh, where did it go? We want to clear out temp string. We want to clear out current string. We want counter equals to 0, right, to stop that. We do want to pause the timer as well. We want to pause the timer. What am I doing? I put this in the return key, sorry. 0, check for dialog, temp string, right, that's right. Okay, that should be in there anyway, I think, honestly. We do want to copy this. We want to blank out our text dialog object, right? And we do want to hide. We want to hide the layer, the dialog layer. Let's see, we blanked out current string. Let's copy this too. All this should be in both anyway. I think we want to hide the layer first though, because it'll just get it off the screen first and then it'll still do these. Let's see, we blanked out text dialog, good. We zeroed out check for dialog, which I think we need to do up there too. These should be mirror images. They should be doing the same thing actually. All right. And the last thing we want to do, let's add pause timer here. The last thing we want to do is we want to set this equal to 0 for this section only here. So let's go ahead and let's say variable value of a global variable dmanager.clear dialog timer equal to 0, and that will shut this down. Alright, so let's try it by putting it in Kingdom Room Collision here. Let's set our global variable of dmanager.clear dialog timer equal to 1. So we trigger it. Let's see how we did. Let's start a preview here in main. Okay, let's hit start. All right, good. Went away, it's gone. That's actually what we want to happen. Good. All right, so we cleaned up that code a bit, which is nice. And I think we also can still use our return key as well to get rid of it. That's good. All right, so that's working much better now. Okay, let's talk a little bit here about where we're going to go with this game. So I've been thinking about this, and there is a dual purpose to these sets of tutorials, right? Because I want to instruct, I want to show what we can do with GDevelop, and I want to give you as much information as possible to be able to take whatever game you want to work on in any direction that you want to go, where you want to take it. But also want to kind of produce something here that could be kind of fun to play with at some point. So I'm going to give this game a little bit of a direction here, I think. And in order to do that, let's go back to our main screen here. And I think for me, now I want to bring up the main layout actually. Go to Project Manager, Main. And I'm going to add a text object to my main screen here. It does not have to be global. I'm going to call it txt title. I'm going to set the size to like 48 for now. And I think I'm going to call this game, The Adventures of Sassy Bob, because you'll recall in one of our early tutorials when he's talking about the desk, I say Bob's getting sassy, and that just kind of, I don't know, just kind of stuck with me, actually. So let's go ahead and let's make a game where we talk about the adventures of Sassy Bob. Alright, let's see if I can get this centered the right way, which is to learn the width of it. Let's see, what can I do? Properties window. Oh, it's already up. I think you have to do this in order to get the width, right? I forgot. You have to like stretch it a little bit or something. There we go. That's the only thing here. Okay, so if I make it just pretty much touching at the corners, let's do 640. That's a rounder number here. So we've got a 640 width here. In order to center this, I need to know the width of my game screen, which is 800, right? And I need to have these sort of both here. So 640, right, divided by 2 equals 320. Now I need to halve the width of my screen, which is 800 divided by 2 is 400, and I need to do 400, I believe, divided minus 320, excuse me. So this should begin at 80. Oh wow, I actually nailed it. Look at that. The X is at 80. Very cool. All right, and we'll start working on things in this. We'll keep working on this title screen here. But yeah, I think we're gonna call this The Adventures of Sassy Bob. Let's see our new title screen here. All right. Okay, and next tutorial we'll start storyboarding again, a more complex scene than just our opening one.